astrology at appesastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. Now I'm going to turn to the Venus retrograde because it plays in, I believe, in the background for the whole year as it conjuncts Pluto on the 30th of Jan 2021 and sets off things in motion. I looked at the Sabian symbol. I discuss, not every video, the Sabian symbols, but I do use the Sabian symbol by Dane Rudyard, who reinterpreted them a lot when I'm trying to more intensely understand what this might mean, whatever this is. And the Sabian symbols go through every single degree of every single signs, and they give you an interpretation of it. So the Sabian symbol for the Venus retrograde, which will be at 26 Capricorn 29, is the 27th degree of Capricorn. So you always round up when you have, when you look at the appropriate Sabian symbol that you need to read for whatever it is you're looking at. And so this is pilgrims climbing the steep steps to a mountain shrine. So individuals raise their respective consciousness to the highest potential. And I think this also relates back to the whole background energy of the Saturn square Uranus, which I view, as I said, as synchronizations, synchronicities going on in the background, and manifestations, potential if you really want to have something happen. And this is changing the old way of thinking into the new, more enlightened Uranus way of thinking. So that's applying basically to the Venus retrograde, which I thought also is. So this is the energy that this Venus retrograde is giving out from the Sabian symbol standpoint. Okay, so you want to look at where Venus retrograde falls in your chart for sure, right? So we're looking at, when we look at birthdays, the birthdays that we are looking at for the Venus retrograde that are directly affected are those birthdays from the 1st of Jan through the 18th of Jan. So if you've got your birthday in that time period, you could be more affected by this Venus retrograde. Right? As I said, it's activated on the 30th of Jan 2021 because we actually have a Mercury retrograde occurring at that time, and that Pluto directly conjuncts this Venus retrograde degree point. So it's going to be on the 19th of December that this occurs officially. And there's also going to be a full moon at this time at 27 degrees of Gemini, 29 minutes. So this definitely says there's going to be a culmination or ending. Now, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but certainly if you've got a romantic relationship where you don't connect with somebody intellectually, or you just don't speak the same language, this may be a time where you decide to dismantle your relationship. But Venus retrogrades can also bring back past loves, right? And that's just generally speaking what Venus retrograde does. On another level, Venus retrograde can have us looking at our money, right? And Capricorn is a very conservative sign, and so it could be us having to, over this Venus retrograde, for some of us, be more conservative with how we use our money, or deciding that I've got to be more conservative with my money. And during the Venus retrograde period, you set up some kind of system or new way of using and maybe actually getting money at this time. It can also relate to our values. So some of us will be taking a look back at A, how people value us, and B, more importantly, how we value ourselves. And in this day and age, much of our value is shown through the money that you're paid. I don't necessarily agree with that, but on a surface level, it's true, whether you like it or not. So there's a couple areas where some of us will be dealing with this Venus retrograde. Now, Venus in Capricorn itself basically speaks more to a mature love. It can also be someone who is actually older, whether you're the older person or the other person is older. So there may be more an allegiance or a preference for a more mature or older person. And this also applies if you've got Venus in Capricorn. I actually have Venus in Capricorn in my chart, so I expect I will definitely be affected directly by this Venus retrograde as well. It also conjuncts my ascendant-descendant axis, so it will play out in one of those three areas: money, values, or love. Can be friendship too, by the way. Can be friendship, or old friends come back in and we're so overjoyed to see them again. And this is, you know, right around the Christmas period. Okay? Yeah. So it does go direct the following year. So I'll be mentioning this in my 2022 video as well. It goes direct at 11 degrees of Capricorn on the 29th of January 2022. So we have to look at the next year for Venus to be going direct. Certainly a time of contemplations. When we look in the sort of mundane aspects, it could be a time where there's a lot of diplomatic relations going on in the world. Maybe a lot more, as I mentioned earlier, it's society and our norms, where there's an obvious change at this time with regards to how our norms are viewed in society, and maybe what we value and don't value anymore. And there may be discussions about this, and maybe people writing about it. That's what I see too, people writing about this too, and talking about how much we've changed in terms of what we value. And I believe that a lot of that will be a retrospective look at the true effects on us as a collective, especially as a collective, from the whole 2020 pandemic that we had, that affected every single one of us in this world. Change is certainly unavoidable. But it's all good change. It's going to bring us further and further to higher levels of consciousness and higher levels of understanding how all of us as a human race have to behave and what we should expect. So next I'm going to go through whether you want to go through it as your ascendant or your sun. I suggest you look at both and then meld them together to come up with your own unique final decision of how you think this might affect you. Before I do that, I did want to mention, I looked up what Capricorn, like what cities and what countries it rules. And there are a number of cities and a number of countries, but I thought what's kind of stood out for me, and this is just an intuitive hit, so I could be wrong, and feel free to, you know, put your own 2 cents in here. But I thought it was interesting that both the UK, the United Kingdom, is ruled by Capricorn, but also the city of Oxford. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. So this Venus retrograde may have some significance not only for the United Kingdom, but for the city of Oxford as well. So I'll keep an eye on that and keep you informed of what I hear or what I see or read. Now, Aquarius is a big influence of change, not only this year, but for many years. And it rules the holy city of the Vatican. So I actually do see, now this may operate behind the scenes for the whole year 2021, but certainly there's going to be some culmination here where this Venus retrograde will definitely play into something with regards to the holy city of the Vatican. And I suspect that it might be to do with values. And we'll just have to see what Pope Francis does with that.